from at-home studios at home in East Memphis. It's the Mighty Quinn Quarantine Wondershow, starring the Mighty Quinn with CCDE. Tonight, Quinn welcomes He's Been Seen in Black Panther, Avengers, Jumanji, and Black Lightning. Stuntman Brandon Arnold. Storyboard artist on Game of Thrones, Deadpool 2, The Boys on Amazon, WandaVision on Disney Plus, and the upcoming Doctor Strange 2 in the Multiverse of Madness. Jeremy Simpson, and a quarantine cartoon from Francis Glenday of New Zealand. Musical guest, Jason the Hater. And now, redefining the art of showing out while staying in, here's the Mighty Quinn.
Thank you. Welcome. Have a seat. Welcome to another episode of the Mighty Quinn Quarantine Wondershow. At the risk of being redundant, I'm your host, the Mighty Quinn. So, look, I couldn't do this thing by myself because it'd be weird, right? If I were just here alone, putting together this entire show. So, let's give it over to the best band in the city, best band in the country, the best band in the doggone world, Chinese Connection Dub Embassy. Let's hear it for them. So, guys, how you been doing this week, man?
Yes, man. Can't complain. Living the quarantine dream.
I hear you on that. Everybody staying safe and staying inside.
Already know.
Outstanding. So, man, we just want to get into it. Producer Ryan, you all set? Guys, y'all all ready?
You already know.
Let's get into the news. So, what's going on in the world this week? I mean, outside from the painfully obvious. And don't worry. I'm sure in no time at all, we'll be back to a state of relative normalcy, right? All we have to do is just pay attention to the science and get the government to pass some decent legislation. Oh my dear Lord, the president's taking hydroxychloroquine, isn't he? Producer Ryan?
The frontline workers, many are taking it. I happen to be taking it.
Hydroxychloroquine?
I'm taking it, hydroxychloroquine. Right now, yeah.
Okay, we're fine, right? There's still some reasonably intelligent people in the world, right? And there's plenty of science and hard data that shows you that you shouldn't take a malaria drug that's yet unproven in relation to a disease that we don't even have the most basic vaccine for, right? I mean, sure, the president's been reckless and dangerous and talking this way, but that's got to be the worst thing he's done this week, right? Right? Is that the Space Force flag? Oh. Why does he smile like that? That is creepy. So you mean to tell me that as the death toll for this thing is over 90,000 by this point, that he thought it was a good idea to unfurl a flag with a design that's clearly ripped off from Starfleet Command? I mean, did you really think that real nerds wouldn't know? You know, this actually gives me a new hypothesis in my multiverse talk show theory. Hear me out, right? What if this crazy person, 45, is so keenly aware that he'll never be looked at as a favorite to the president? He won't be looked at as better than Obama. Hell, he won't even be looked at as better than Andrew Jackson. Let's say he takes this hydroxychloroquine on purpose as a prep before he goes into a cryo sleep. For almost a millennia, he slumbers. Wakes up in the year 2984, for the sake of poetry, right? Goes by those tar pits that make you slightly younger. Am I the only person that watched a lot of Futurama? And then hides in the ranks of the reformed Space Force, now called Duke, under the pseudonym Zach Randall. Right? If we are part of a larger multiverse? What if our Earth is the reality that gives birth to the Simpsons, right? Terrible handling of pandemics, right? General bungling by the governments of the world. Toxic chemicals everywhere. Human beings start to mutate, right? People start turning yellow. Well, not us, melanin. But everybody gets 3 fingers and a thumb. Fish start coming out of the water with 3 eyes. Babies start talking. Cats and mice go on wacky adventures together. I'm telling you, this is just one universe out of many. You know, in another universe, I bet you the place is packed right now. And you know who we have as a musical guest? Probably Kenny G featuring The Lonely Island. Here, you got the hater. Jason. No. Look, in spite of that, we still have some really good guests, right? I mean, tonight, for example, we got a storyboard artist that's worked on most of the DC shows, right? And we've got a stuntman that's worked on a lot of the Marvel movies. Full disclosure, the storyboard artist, he actually worked on Deadpool 2, and the stuntman, he actually did an episode of Black Lightning, blocking out for Wayne Brady. So we do have a good show. Fear not. What we're here to do is provide some quarantine lightness, right? And in the spirit of that, here's a little something we like to call quarantine gospel, right? There's been a lot of concern around the idea that clergymen and folks of the cloth seem to be opting out for faith in the face of science. So there have been some people who have gotten sick with coronavirus because of their defiantly getting together for their local church services. But here are some examples of people of faith who are actually listening to the science. Like these people who were playing music for passersby when a man who is clearly either a high-ranking deacon or pastor of his own church brought this into the fray. Now that's the kind of Sunday service I can get into. And, you know, without all the Kanye politics. And let's keep it real. The guy's got a mean freestyle. I mean, did he come up with that off his head? Here's another example of a pastor putting the needs and safety of his people above the desire to get together. And he's really creative with the way that he gave his heavenly revelation. Producer Ryan?
There are churches going back to worship around Chicago, I'm told, around the nation. Fellowship will not be one of those. You can save your call. You don't have to call up to the church or wonder what us doing, what we going to do. We're not coming back to church until the Lord, the righteous judge, wakes me up out of my sleep and says it's time to come back to the building. See, the church is still open. The building is closed. So while we're in this season, the church is still open. We're still worshiping. We're still doing ministry every week. And I thank God for it. But we will not return into this building until the Lord himself wakes me up out of my sleep, slaps me 3 times, pours water from heaven on my face, and warms my feet with the fire of the Holy Ghost. And I have no choice but to jump out of my bed and say, yes, God. Until that moment happens, you don't have to call us. You don't have to email me. You don't have to DM me. We ain't coming back up in here until it is absolutely safe. We'll be back in here when the NBA opens. We'll be back in here when all the governor's mansions open for tours again. We'll be back in here when the White House opens again for visitation. Until then, until all of their stuff, and you know who there is, until their stuff opens up, none of our stuff will be opening up. Let the church say amen.
My favorite part is how he says that God would have to slap him 3 times. Very specific, very biblical, you know? Well, I gotta admit, that's gotta be enough standing. Let's go to the desk. All right. So, as with every week, I don't have any interns, don't have a writer's room or a staff. Shout out to Tyler Perry. So it's almost impossible for me to catch up with everything that happens in any given week. With that, we turn to a little segment I like to call My Week and Yours with Max Patah. Max?
It's time for My Week and Yours with Max Patah.
Good evening, I'm Max Patah. So last week, the Mighty Quinn Quarantine Wondershow premiered to rave reviews from what I've been told. To celebrate that, we're going to talk about my 5 greatest wonders of all time. Number 5, Wonder Boy Monsterland. It's a video game from the 80s that was on the Sega Master System. Number 4, Small Wonder. It's a sitcom from the 80s that's about a robot child going to live with a human family. Go YouTube it. Number 3, Wonder Woman, because why not? Number 2, The Wonder Years. And number 1, Stephen Hardaway Morris, more affectionately known as Stevie Wonder. Happy 70th birthday, Stevie. We know you got a lot more music in there that you're hiding. And that concludes my 5 greatest wonders of all time. So until next week, I'm out.
And this has been My Week and Yours with Max Patah.
Thanks, Max. That was a wonderful installment. Well, stick around, you guys. We've got a great show for you. We've got storyboard artist and comic book artist Jeremy Simpster, and we have actor and stuntman Brandon Arnold, and musical guest Jason the Hater. We'll be back. Gotta get a better musical guest.
Guess what? I am joined by Jason Reeves from 1 through 3 Art, Quinn McGowan of Legends Press and Wildfire. Yo, look, the Rip Party is going down May 30th, 2020. If I could get some insight, my brother, starting with Brother Quinn, what can people hope to expect from this event?
So, what you can expect is a mix of entertainment, interviews, celebrities, talk about the future, talk about how we're dealing with right now, and kind of us doing the comic book version of something that's been around in our community for a long time, which is just kind of coalescing when we have a tough situation, finding a way out of it.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, we are here with my guest for the evening. Now, as I understand it from some of my trusted sources, he's a very talented artist, but for reasons that we're going to get to the bottom of right now, he apparently decided to give that up for a career of getting bumped into and hurt on camera. Please put your digital hands together for Mr. Brandon Arnold. So Brandon, tell us a little bit about why you stopped doing art.
So here's the real reason I stopped doing art. So I remember I had a project that had to be turned in the next day.
Okay.
And I'm learning the grid. I'm learning like everything, how to get this project done. You know, I did a great job on the project. Stayed up like 3 o'clock in the morning just to finish this bad boy.
Okay.
I'm feeling confident. The next day in the classroom, I turned it in. He graded it. I'm all excited. I'm thinking I made an A+, whatever. He gives it back to me, and it's a D-. I'm like, huh? I spent so much work on this project and gave me a D. I'm like, you know what? This career isn't for me. You know what I'm saying? I'm just sitting here stuck at a desk just drawing all day. And my back is hurting. I'm getting cramped. I'm getting annoyed. And I put so much effort into it. And I ended up failing it in a way. You know what I'm saying? So, yeah, it is. Let that go. And I'd rather just fall on my butt and make more money that way. You know what I'm saying? So,
okay. So now I guess that's a good enough reason, but now help me understand the man. You're Chris Hemsworth, you're Chadwick Boseman, your Robert Downey Jr.'s. They seem to get millions of dollars. And then right before something dangerous happens, director yells cut, rolls them right off to craft services to have lattes, and then they wheel you out, and then you fall on the ground.
Yes, that's correct. That's how it works.
Our career choice?
Well, as stunt performers, everything's rehearsed, everything's practiced to a safe way.
Mm-hmm.
And we rehearse these falls to land to land in a way where we can't get hurt. You know, so we know how to land. It's and plus there's also mats on the sets too. You know, and we're also wearing padding as well. You know, and I just like the adrenaline rush of it. I love just because I come from gymnastics too, gymnastics background. You know, so pretty much those falls are sometimes just flipping onto it, to the ground. It's fun. You know, it's fun. You know, we do stuff like this when you're a little kid. Now you get to do it for real and get paid for it. You know what I'm saying? So,
but that's what I'm trying to understand. My grandmama had a banister, right? Every time I walked by this banister, fell on my butt. Did it 100 times. You could say I became a professional at it. It hurt every time. It was very much like Wolverine's claws. So I never learned how to fall safely to do this. It hurts every time. So now if the money is good, who am I to knock? I'm just saying it's safer holding a pencil. Maybe I'm a little biased because I like to draw. But if you want to get knocked around by Iron Man, to get beat up by T'Challa, I guess if that makes you happy, then who am I to knock you? I'm just saying keep a pencil and paper nearby in case you end up in a body cast.
Understood. I got you.
Welcome back, everybody. And we're here with our guest, Mr. Brandon Arnold, who is a stuntman. He's worked in a lot of the stuff that you're into. Avengers, Black Panther. He's recently done some Black Lightning. And I understand you got punched by The Rock in Jumanji.
Yeah, I did. I did.
Okay.
I loved it. Rock, Dwayne The Rock Johnson, he was very professional, very cool, and he's really huge. But he knew the timing, he knew where to punch, all the good stuff. We had a good chemistry, just for that one little second of sharing the spotlight with him. So it was pretty cool.
Cool. Okay, so tell us a little bit about some of the movies or shows that you worked on that we'd be familiar with.
Like you said, Avengers, Endgame, Infinity War, Black Panther, Zombieland 2, Jumanji 3, and a lot of shows too. Definitely one Black Lightning, Star, Tyler Perry's The Oval, and other shows on down the line too as well.
Okay. And alongside with stunt work, do you also do some acting?
I do. So initially acting, my main goal is to become an action star. You know, I started acting first before I actually got into stunts.
Okay.
And acting just been a huge passion of mine. You know, I love it. So yeah, I do both.
Awesome. Do you do any martial arts? That probably comes with the package, right?
Actually, no. Well, yeah, but I'm not a martial artist.
Okay.
My background is pretty much playing basketball. I was introduced to basketball at an early age. Matter of fact, when I took a karate class, I actually hated it. I didn't like it at all. But for the stunts, that's a huge requirement if you want to be a fighter on camera. You know what I'm saying? So you gotta learn your weapons, your kick, your basics, all your basics. It'll definitely help you in the long run, for sure. So I picked up all my skills getting into the stunt industry.
Okay.
Yeah. So I had to work very hard to get where I am. So yeah.
Awesome. And I there's something about the idea that you picked up skills because of what you wanted to do, more so than just naturally being inclined to that. I think that's dope.
Yeah.
So let me ask you, what's the sickest move you've ever done as far as a stunt that didn't make it into the thing you were working on?
So I've been very fortunate that all the moves I have done makes it into the film or the TV series. You know, there might not be the biggest move, but there's still somewhat acrobatic movement. And I know for a lot of stunt guys don't really get to showcase what they can really do, you know. For me, I've been fortunate enough to showcase some of my skills and abilities on camera. So yeah.
So you said earlier that your goal is to be an action star. Is there a franchise that's out now that you would like to take over, that you could see yourself in the lead in?
To take over? Ooh, that's tough, man. That's huge. Yeah, to take over. Dang. I know I would love to be a part of these franchises since I'm a huge action guy. Mission Impossible.
Word.
You know, there's been a couple of those on down the line. Fast and the Furious.
Cool.
And I know this movie it's not out yet, but The Matrix is definitely number one.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. Sure. Now, this is me cheating because I have my own idea. I would throw my hat in the ring to put you in a reboot of the Die Hard franchise.
Wow. Bruce Willis, huh? Okay.
Yeah. I think the everyman, the guy that takes the beating but can hold it down. Yeah. I've always been a fan of that vibe. The guy that comes out scarred at the end. That's always been the kind of, when I would be in my room pretending to get beat up. I used to be so big into I never wanted to be the guy that won the fight. I like taking the blows. So I would always pretend to get beat up. But I love movies like Die Hard because they get beat up and then at the end they come back. So
right. For me, it wasn't like that for me because I always wanted to be the guy that sort of that didn't have any skills, but worked his way up. You know, told a story. Word. And towards the end, he becomes the greatest hero or just a lead guy. You know what I'm saying?
Also, the storytelling with the character building. I feel you.
Exactly.
I feel you. Yeah. So, what stunt coordinator or what stunt person is your favorite right now?
My favorite. Well, throughout my career, let me say this. Monique Gannerton has definitely been looking out for me. She hired me on my first job, was Avengers.
Okay.
She's been just continually just watching, just helping me out in my career. And Dane LeBoyer, who hired me on Black Lightning to double Wayne Brady as a Gravedigger. Cool. You know, because both of those, the movie and the series have really, I think, one of the biggest opportunities I've ever gotten to have. You know, so I appreciate those two stuff. Now, all the stunt coordinators I've worked for are great. Right. Those who definitely stand out the most.
So, right. The guys that help you get into the spaces, or the guys and gals that help you get into those spaces, are awesome. So you work on your own indie projects as well as stuff for other people, and you brought a clip of something that you've worked on. So would you like to set up what we're about to see right now?
Correct. Yeah, I would love to. So what we're about to watch right now is it's a fight scene, little indie project I shot with my friends. The Matrix. I'm a huge fan of The Matrix, so I think guys will enjoy it. So check it out.
All right, producer Ryan. Man, that is super dope. So,
Thank you. Appreciate it.
is there a place where we can go to see your indie work or the stuff that you're making? And is there something that you're working on that we can look forward to in the near future?
So you can find me on Facebook as Brandon Arnold, just my name, and
Right.
Instagram B_Arnold7. I've done some stuff. I don't know if I can talk about it though.
Okay.
But as far as my personal projects, I have nothing going on right now because of the whole pandemic thing.
Right.
But I'm just steady training, steady keeping my skills up, and learning new skills too. I bought a motorcycle, so I'm starting to like learn some tricks on that, and just trying to get acclimated to driving a motorcycle. So yeah.
All right. Brave man, learning those skills to expand the portfolio.
There.
All right. So hopefully, man, you're staying safe and staying inside. That's a message with the Mighty Quinn Quarantine Wonder Show. And we thank you for your time.
Thank you, brother.
Here at the Mighty Quinn Quarantine Wonder Show, we like to bring you entertainment from all over the world. So, with a cartoon from New Zealand about how they're handling quarantine, here's an animated piece by Mr. Francis Glendag. And that was part one of a 4-part installment from New Zealand animator Francis Glendag. We'll be looking for more of that in the coming weeks. We'll be right back. So, Mr. Simpson, you are a roller derby person who, I guess, moonlights as a storyboard artist. So the important question, because we've it would be easy to ask you about Doctor Strange or tell us a tidbit from WandaVision, but that's not what my viewers are here to learn about, because they could go to Disney Plus for that. What are the 3 most essential things to know about roller derby?
Okay, so number 1, it's for real. Like the sport has developed into an actual competitive sport. It's not there's still a faction of it that is still kind of the over the top, more of the pro wrestling type thing that like you saw in Whip It, for example. But we take it very seriously. We train hard for it. We practice hard, and it's a real sport. That sort of leads me into number 2, which is basically the fitness element of it. I mean, I started playing roller derby when I was 39 years old, and now at 47, I am in the best shape of my life. So I was never, well, I mean, when I was a really young kid, I was a competitive diver. But that's, your parents push you into that, right? But like national champion 2 years in a row on the 3-meter springboard. But not to toot my own horn again. But anyways, but after that, I was really sort of non-athletic for a good solid like like 20 years or so before I started getting into roller derby. So I mean, it's life-changing in that sense, that as you play it, you sort of fall in love with it, and as you fall in love with it, you want to perform better, and so therefore you start working out and all of this stuff. And yeah, so now that's who I am now. I work out. I'm workout guy now, which I never was before.
And the third thing?
The third thing is it's super fun. It's amazingly fun.
Okay. Yeah. If there's something you could do to elevate the field of roller derby, what would it be?
I would love to see it just get a little bit more of a presence, just to some more people to see it and really to sort of to get it. Do you know what I mean? Like it's this weird sort of like counterculture offshoot sport thingy that I don't think people take very seriously because of, you know, like whenever you see it, it'll pop up on an episode of CSI, right? And it's always these ladies dressed up and they've got the football things, like the black stuff in their eyes, and they're wearing fishnets and stuff like that. And that's not what it is anymore. I mean, at a certain level, it is still that, but then the really competitive stuff, the stuff that might be, you know, on ESPN that people would want to watch, hasn't quite been grasped yet by the public. And I would love to see that happen. I would love to see more coverage of it. You know what I mean?
Right. Fun fact, you are actually the first of 2 roller derby participants who have done covers for Project Wildfire. The other being Miss Allison Duckett. So one day we're going to have to revisit this subject, have both of you guys on, because she takes it very seriously too.
Yeah, totally.
So I know that there's probably a lot of travel involved in roller derby. So tell me, what's the thing you love the most about playing the sport, and what's a thing that you would change if you could?
Well, I mean, aside from the sport itself, I've talked about the athleticism of it and all that, so I love that part. But really, I've met people from all over the world. The champs a couple of years ago was in Wales. The World Cup of roller derby, men's World Cup of roller derby, was in Barcelona a couple of years ago. So really, there's people from all over. We played a team from Australia came to champs last year. Like really, the community of it is what I love the most about it, and it's just such a welcoming and openly open community. You know, I mean, of all types of people, and it's just and it's great in that sense. And it really is this at the end of the day, we're all competing to win these games, but then as soon as we're done, it's like after party time and everybody's hanging out, and somebody that gave you a really nasty hit on the track will buy you a beer afterwards. And it's really, in that sense, it's really cool.
Awesome. So I appreciate you coming on. I appreciate you talking about your passion and love for roller derby. It was a great interview. And maybe next time we'll have more time to talk about that storyboarding thing you do.
I can't believe we didn't get to the storyboards. It's just, it's crazy, you know, but hey, time is what it is. I love talking about roller derby, so it's all good.
All right. Well, thanks for being on the show. Ladies and gentlemen, put your digital hands together for Mr. Jeremy Simpson. I have already told you we are not doing a Toys Right discussion on this show. Look, you're already on the banner. You need to leave. Don't make me call it. All right, everybody, and we're back. So last week was our inaugural show, little top heavy, had a lot of great guests going on, very exciting stuff. Didn't get a chance to really, truly appreciate our musical guest. So I feel like he's already a part of the family. You already know him. Ladies and gentlemen, put your hands together for Jason the Hater.
Maybe we can get through it this time. All right, check it out. Yeah, it goes 2 for the show, 1 for the cash. Show not, all I see is ones when you flash, I laugh. Even though you talk that jazz, then tune you out while I'm bumping jazz. Band, turn up the sound on blast. Fat amount of hop, becoming unmasked. Hip hop's treasure, amongst most trash. Turn the dusty to dust and ashy to ash. Cash is sharp, I'm not, but I'm deaf when I step on stage. I'm killing it so fast. On task, so deserving to receive cheese for this MC crab. Yeah, it's the stars, king of kings, raw is raw, man for man, bar for bar, hard is hard. The hard, yeah. You know it don't quit. So we busting out like the old boy Rick James. We pull up in this thing so thick, it'll turn your gangster walk to a mic toe tip. Chain, lead off that.
Jason, I'm so desperately sorry. Your audio was breaking up. Your audio is messing up a little bit. So is there any way you can?
I thought it was coming kind of clear.
Yeah, no, I can barely.
More, but,
I can't hear you.
You couldn't hear that?
Only parts of it. Yeah, you sound like a fast food speaker. Is there anything you could look?
You want me to start the whole thing over?
Well,
you want me to start all the way?
I can barely.
You want me to start out?
Hey, I tell you what. Look, it seems like your connection is messed up.
But it's coming through fine on your end.
I can barely hear you. Look, I tell you what. We actually have a musical guest slated for next week, but we got a little bit of room on that show. So I tell you what we'll do. We'll get you in before our scheduled musical guest. That way, there's no way we could get to the end of the show because you're performing before the other guy.
Okay.
So
I'll be able to do a whole song next time.
And let me just check with my stage manager to make sure, so we can. Pretty sure about that, right? Good on. Look, don't go hang out with your friends and forget. Okay, just
But
no, it looks like we're good. No, we're good. We're good. You're sure about it? We're good. So I tell you what. Next week, we'll block out some time. Look, just give me a call and let me know whenever you're available, and we'll make sure to make it happen, folks.
Okay.
I am so very sorry. Look, if you want to be able to hear the rest of the song, all you have to do is just look up Jason the. Since that guy's in the makeup chair, I'd just like to thank everybody for coming out. Tune in next week because we're going to do another one. I don't know how that guy got that show, but we're going to run them as long as we can get away with it.